What is up, y'all? We are finally live. Sorry, I had a phone call come in. We have crews coming here tomorrow from Mission Serve, which, believe it or not, is an organization that is bigger than Samaritan's Purse. So I'm getting my driveway worked on. We're getting some trees removed, and I had to still have to find uh, a couple of jobs for them to do while they're here. So, and they called right when we were getting ready to go live. But we are here, and this is Let's Fill Out a Bracket. And we're going to have a special guest with us later on, or anytime he's ready. That's going to join us. And y'all, this is not your chewing the fat. This is not your. This is our input on a bracket. And we ask that you please do not, this is a disclosure, do not in any way take what we are saying and place a bet on it.
No.
If you do, that is your fault.
Yeah, that's you.
So, like I said, this is just our opinion. We're going to break down the bracket, each team, each region, and fill ours out along the way. But please do not, one more time, disclosure, do not. We are not experts. We're rednecks filling out a bracket.
You might be.
Do not take this to the bank. Do not in any way place bets on this. So with that being said, what I'm trying to do is get this into where we can see it. And I don't know exactly what it looks like on the StreamYard.
Let me go look, see what it looks like.
Yeah, but turn your volume down. Because what I'm thinking we can do to get our bracket pulled up to where we can see it
I mean, you can kind of see it.
is hang on here. Let me try doing this. What's up, Bubbles Butterfly? Welcome in. Are you filling out a bracket? If so, you're at the right place. If not, you're still at the right place. All right. I think we can make this work. All right, y'all. As everyone knows, everyone's filling out brackets right now, and they'll probably be trashed by Saturday.
What?
They'll probably be trashed by Saturday. I
What
know
does that mean?
Eli's probably will be.
No.
Yeah.
You wait and see. And when mine's better,
All right, we'll see.
when mine gets more points than yours,
Like I said, we'll see.
hey, I told you last night, anything can happen.
Yeah, buddy. All right, first region we're going to look at is the South.
South. And the dirty South.
And that is the region that North Carolina
will be in.
Hopefully will
No,
be
will
in.
be in.
Hopefully will be
in. If they lose this game, I'm going to switch to be probably a Houston fan.
A Houston fan?
Oh, yeah. If Carolina don't make the tournament this year, I'm done with them.
They made the tournament. They're in the 60. They're in the first four.
Yeah, but if they lose to San Diego State, it's all over.
They won't. You got to be positive. All right, what is up, Blaine? Welcome in, welcome in. What's up, Scooby Snacks? Welcome in. Brandon, thank you for being here. And we have everyone saying we're going to be late. What's up, Bud Files? Welcome in, welcome in. Mr. Willie. Welcome in, Mr. Willie.
There's
What's
a
up,
Tar
Miss
Heel.
Najuma?
There's a Tar Heel.
Megan Edgeworth. What's up, what's up? Tonight is just a bracket filling out, Megan. So it's nothing really special. That's why we didn't do it on Chewing the Fat.
We thought about it.
Yeah,
but
much they aren't experts. They have UNC gear on. Enough said, Blaine. What's up, Yoda and his Go Kentucky? What's up, Bubbles Butterfly? Welcome in, welcome in
he's not gonna like me.
to all of you all. No, Eli, don't do that. Houston is no good.
All right.
What's up, William Smith? That makes no sense, Eli. That's what everyone's saying.
They're not gonna like my bracket.
All right.
I think we got our guest.
We are fixing to go over the South region. And down there with us, are you ready?
You ready?
Let's say hello
Hello.
to Mr. Paul Vines.
Oh,
How y'all doing? Well,
What's up, Mr.
all
Paul
my little
Vines?
nephews and nieces just got here, so
Hey, we ain't professional, trust me. By no means are we professional at all. But we're going to look at the South region. And first, you have Auburn that will be facing off against a play-in.
Yeah, whoever wins that, but it's gonna be Auburn.
And you
automatically.
got 16 seed Alabama State and 16 seed St. Francis. Sir Paul, this would be what I would consider a toss-up game. Who would you put?
Really, a toss-up game?
Who would you put as playing Alabama?
oh gosh, I have no earthly idea.
Or not Alabama, but Auburn.
Auburn.
You're right.
Hang on just a second, I'll be right back.
Alabama State versus St. Francis. Yoda says St. Francis.
Yeah, but like no one's beaten Auburn until. Yeah,
We're not there, Eli.
I'll get through that, but like no, yeah, Auburn's winning.
That is a toss-up, and Yoda says he likes St. Francis. I'm going with Alabama State. Just simply because St. Francis is a good story, a good feel-good story, if you will. And so I'm going with Alabama State there to play Auburn. Eli, who do you have?
I'm gonna go St. Francis,
Eli goes with St. Francis.
but it won't matter because Auburn's gonna beat them probably by a lot.
Yeah, but Eli, I look at your brackets.
I'm guessing Auburn's gonna beat them by a lot. Are you talking bad about Auburn when you? Never mind.
So Eli went St. Francis.
Yes, I did.
All right. And close game with Alabama State winning, says Blaine. I like Alabama State there. I do. And this South region to me stands out as probably one of the weaker regions in the tournament.
Oh, really?
Yep.
With Auburn.
I don't think Auburn will not come out of this region. They will get beat.
Yeah, but I ain't gonna say by who because we haven't got to that game yet.
It is a soft region.
I don't have them going to the Final Four, so that
But-
tells you anything.
So we've got Auburn and Alabama State. And in that matchup with Auburn, who do you have going on to the next round?
Auburn and
St. Francis, Auburn, Alabama State. Who do
Yeah.
you have?
I got Auburn winning.
All right. He's got Auburn going on. Paul, do you have any objection to that?
No, sir, not at all. Auburn, their only losses this year were to powerhouses.
Oh yeah,
So, I mean,
right. But here's the thing: Auburn should not have been the number 1 overall seed.
you think Duke should have been?
I think Duke was hands down. See, Auburn, their last 4 games, they lost 3. 3 of their last 4 games are losses.
Yeah, I think they're going to choke in March Madness.
They didn't win their conference. And you look at Duke, they were the number 1 team as far as rankings goes.
Blah, blah, blah. They shouldn't have won.
Going into the ACC tournament, and they prevailed. I mean, take the ACC for what it is. But still, if you look at this region, Paul, I think even though Auburn got the number 1 overall, I think Auburn got shafted just a little.
Well, they may have. But can y'all still see and hear me? I don't know. I pulled up a different tab to look at the bracket. So
yeah, I've got us minimized over here to the side and kind of the bracket there in the middle. But the thing with Auburn, if they win and make it to Atlanta, they're going to have a home court advantage. But to start out, they're playing in Lexington.
Oh yeah,
that's true. I don't know. There are some questionable, well, not questionable, but should be very good matchups all through this bracket here. But yeah, I'll take Auburn first round, no doubt.
All right, I've got Auburn.
Yeah,
Eli's got Auburn. So we drop down to the 8-9 game in that bracket.
This will be a close one.
And it is the Battle of the Birds. Do you prefer a Blue Jay
Cardinal?
Or a Cardinal?
Cardinal.
This is Creighton and Louisville.
Creighton's one of those tricky schools.
That's why I was like, watch out for Creighton, but I really
watch out for Creighton. Used to be Gonzaga, and then everybody figured out, hey, Gonzaga plays basketball.
Creighton will be a tough out. But here again, I think Louisville got the shaft with getting the 8 seed because we didn't get but 4 ACC teams in. But this game, just like Auburn, is being played in Lexington, Kentucky. What is close to Lexington, Kentucky?
Louisville, Kentucky.
Louisville,
Kentucky. They are going to paint Rupp Arena red. So this is going to more or less be a home game for Louisville that Creighton's walking into.
That's why I put Louisville with the win.
Now, who do you have on the line there, Sir Paul? Louisville or?
I'm going to go Louisville, but I wouldn't be surprised if Creighton don't upset them, or it's going to be a good game, good game.
It's going to be kind of close, yeah.
Right, yeah, that was what I was thinking. I've got Louisville down as well, but it's a cautious Louisville. You know, I'm not confident in that pick.
Look at Mr. Willie.
But I do like Louisville there.
I'm gonna follow up on Mr. Willie's comment there. I was on the phone with my girlfriend in there, and I said I just sinned. And she said, "What'd you do?" I said, "I put Duke down."
Hello, beautiful Miss Meg.
Miss Meg says, "I know nothing about any of the teams, but hello. What is up, Miss Meg?"
Well, Miss Meg, to be honest with you,
it's
a brand new season now. What you did in the regular season means squat right now.
Oh, yeah. There's so many upsets. Madness. It's not even fun.
So
this is a new
game.
That's why this is everybody's favorite time.
All right. We've got Auburn and Louisville making it past the first round. And that takes us to the 5-12 matchup. And the 5-12 matchups are always tricky. And with this 5-12 matchup, you have Michigan, and then you have a mid-major that's just stepping up.
Mm-hmm.
You see San Diego. The thing here about Michigan is Michigan's got 2 big men. They're tall and lanky.
Yeah, they're good.
But you see San Diego, they like to spread you out. and shoot the threes. I mean, they're going to take 63s in this game, no doubt about it.
Well, that could be a bad thing too, though.
If
Wait,
if you see San Diego hits more than 12 threes, I think Michigan's in trouble.
yes, sir.
But I think Michigan's going to beat them.
The 5-12 is usually known for what, Paul?
Upsets.
Upset is a 5-12 matchup. And
That's the beauty of this tournament is you get games like, okay, you just said Michigan's got two good big men. Fine. That don't come into play when they're draining it, from three land.
But if they miss, then that's rebounds off
Exactly.
of rebounds off
Yeah,
of rebounds.
but if they get hot and they're hitting them, there is no rebounds.
Yeah, you're right.
So this is my first upset. I picked UC San Diego.
You got UC San Diego
over
over Michigan.
Yep. They're playing out west. This game's in Denver, I think.
Yep.
So Michigan's already going to be in a time warp. You got that time change. You got that elevation, and don't tell me the elevation don't play a key because it does, even though you're inside. This is my first upset. Eli, who you got?
I got Michigan.
Eli goes Michigan. Paul?
UC San Diego.
Paul goes UC San Diego.
Because they got nothing to lose.
Exactly.
I mean, yeah.
That's a dangerous team.
Watch out, Brody. Brody, move.
If they get knocked out, it was like, well, great season. You made it to the dance.
Yep. They're not expected anything. So I went UC San Diego. Paul went UC San Diego. And guys in the chat, let us know. I know William says Rick Pitino is a good coach, and we fixing to get Rick Pitino is a dang good coach.
All right, the next one's going to be real easy.
All right, so far we've got Auburn, Louisville. Eli's got Michigan.
You and Paul have
Mr. Paul and I
UC
have
San Diego.
UC San Diego. The next is the 4-13 matchup of Texas A&M and
It's
Yale.
going to be an absolute beatdown by Texas A&M.
I wouldn't bet on that.
No, yeah.
I'll take A&M for the win. But if Yale can control the game, they're going to give A&M fits.
I've watched some of their games. They're really not a bad team.
Here's the thing with Yale. Yale is led by 2 senior guards. They're an experienced team, and more or less this same team, maybe 1 or 2 different key players, but like I said, 2 senior guards. What did they do to Auburn last year?
I don't frankly remember.
Yale sent Auburn home last year.
Yep.
Really?
Yep.
So you got Yale winning?
I am going Texas A&M.
Oh, yeah, I got A&M winning.
But I'm saying you better watch out for Yale.
Oh, yeah, I got A&M too. I'm just saying, if Yale's able to control the game, play their game, A&M's in for a fight.
Oh, yeah.
Yep. Without a doubt. And it's an experienced Yale team, like I said, that sent Auburn home last year. So I'm going Texas A&M. Paul said he was. Eli said he was. But look out for Yale.
Next game might be a little.
The next game is we're going to have to go to the play-in game of San Diego State and North Carolina.
If North Carolina don't win, there's something wrong.
William Smith says they're going to send A&M home too. He's picking Yale. Not a bad pick.
No.
All right. San Diego State. This is a game being played tomorrow night at 9:10 Eastern Standard. San Diego State versus North Carolina.
North Carolina.
Eli?
Of course.
And I'm going North
Tar
Carolina.
Heels.
But now, San Diego State is, another one of those 11 seeds. And it came down basically between San Diego State and North Carolina until Memphis won. And then there really wasn't no bids that were took. So that allowed both of them to make it. And in the play-in, the first 4 game, We're all going to North Carolina. So that's going to put North Carolina up against Ole Miss.
They're gonna beat Ole Miss.
Paul?
I'm gonna go North Carolina just because I think North Carolina's got a fire. I'm
Yeah,
hoping they do.
Play more together, and yeah, they looked way better in the ACC tournament than they did all year.
They run up against that Duke team. That Duke team ain't play well. They are playing. They're playing great, but they're not playing around with anybody.
That Duke team was
Yes, sir.
is great. But what gets me, and it wasn't, everyone wants to say, oh, well, Withers had a lane violation. If it wasn't been for that, that had something to do with it. But you also can't spot nobody. Duke had a 24-point lead at the 16-minute mark in the second half.
Duke don't need no help.
No, you definitely don't spot a team like that by 24. No. But North Carolina is playing, and you can say that right now is when you want everyone to be playing their best. The what you done at Maui and all the NITs and that don't matter now. Right now is when you want to be peaking.
You won't be playing your best basketball.
And I think this is a different North Carolina team than the teams that we saw because everyone is against them right now. I mean, every expert you watch is they don't know how North Carolina made it with the quad one losses, but I will take North Carolina over Ole Miss. Eli picked North Carolina over Ole Miss. And Paul did too. All right. And then we move on to an interesting matchup.
Iowa State
versus Lipscomb.
Iowa State's going to wax them.
Here's the only thing about that. I don't know if anyone's heard or not, but Keyshawn Gilbert
is out.
Iowa State's point guard is out for the tournament.
Oh.
He pulled a groin, and they were saying, well, maybe they're sandbagging. Maybe this is something that will, they'll eventually work him in. He came out today in an interview and said, look, there's so much rehab and stuff I've got to go through that there is no chance he's playing. And he's the floor general for this Iowa State team.
But they will get a W against Lipscomb.
Yeah. But I wouldn't rule out the upset.
Like Paul's already stated, Lipscomb's one of them teams that's playing with, hey, they've already done what they need to do. They made the tournament.
They playing with house money.
Pat on the back. You made the tournament. What they do from now on is gravy.
They really ain't got nothing to lose because that's a very small team that no one really ever sees, especially in March Madness. I'm
going Iowa State, Paul.
I'm going to go Iowa State, but I will not be shocked if Lipscomb upsets them. I'm never shocked in this tournament. So, I mean, and to be honest with you, I watch for the upsets if it's not my team playing.
Right. And I agree too. And this is the best as far as tournament or anything like that, sporting event, because I think you got to do, everybody calls it a Cinderella team, but there's not really a Cinderella team. It's just a team that gets hot. And a hot team with nothing to lose is dangerous as a cocked gun. But yes, I'm going with Iowa State too. But keep in mind when we go deeper into this that Mr. Gilbert is not available. That takes you on to
all right. This next game is going to be a close one.
Number 7 Marquette and number 10 New Mexico.
I've actually good.
That 7-10 matchup's intriguing.
That's why I said this next one's going to be pretty close. It might go into OT.
I'm going to go Marquette on that one just for the history of Marquette. But I've watched New Mexico play a couple times and seen highlights. They're a good team. But
location has a lot to do with this tournament too. And you look at that Marquette New Mexico matchup.
Yep.
That game's being played in Cleveland, Ohio. That's closer on the Marquette side than it is New Mexico.
Oh yeah.
Yes, sir.
I mean, you're gonna and Marquette travels well. They're gonna have their fan base there, and like Paul said, it's a storied program, and sometimes it's just hard to bet against tradition. But I'm going Marquette. Eli
I got Marquette winning that game, but it'll be close.
and Paul went with Marquette as well. Then we get to the number 2,
Here we go.
15 seed, Michigan State and Bryant.
Michigan State will clean.
Tournament time.
Wow, what is the one coach you don't want to see come March?
Tom Izzo. Michigan State.
Tom Izzo is a tournament king. I mean, he's just a tournament coach. That's what he does. It don't matter what they look like regular season. Come March, Tom Izzo is ready to go. So I'm going definitely Michigan State.
Michigan State will clean.
Ditto. I don't even know who Brian is right offhand, but
Me either. Not really. I don't understand
either.
that name.
I don't, and I didn't research them none because I didn't figure there's much of a need to. Now watch this right here be the one upset that
Changes
there's always
everybody's
one.
bracket.
But I'm going Michigan State there.
I don't. This next game is just easy.
Goby Snack says Michigan State. And Mr. Willie went Iowa State with the one before that. So, do you want to finish out the South or do you want to go on down to the West?
I'm good for whatever y'all want to do. I'm just here.
Go.
I enjoy talking this.
Just
We can finish out the region. We'll finish out the South. So you're going to go to round 2. And this is going to be an interesting matchup.
Oh yeah.
Just because
You've
of where
already
it's
talked
at.
about it.
You take Lexington, Kentucky, Rupp Arena, number 1 seed and number 1 overall seed, Auburn, versus Louisville. We already know that Louisville's crowd's going to be there because it's in Kentucky. Louisville's not that far from Lexington.
Auburn will win under pressure.
Auburn versus Louisville.
Auburn will win.
Eli picks Auburn. Mr. Paul, who you got?
I got to go Louisville just because Auburn hadn't. I mean, they've been good, but they ain't been great. And they're going. Rick Pitino save a few times. He got upset in the tournament. You got to be great to beat him when it's tournament time. He's not Tom Izzo, but he's close. So I'm gonna go Louisville.
Brandon is going Auburn. I'm going Louisville
Yeah, I
here.
think he's gonna go Louisville.
Just because Louisville is, first of all, they're playing with a chip on their shoulder because they thought they should have got better than an 8 seed. They're playing more or less at home. It's a home game. So William Smith says Auburn's going to fold. And we've got mixed emotions there, but I say Louisville. Brandon says Auburn. Eli says Auburn. That's an interesting matchup.
Sure is.
I mean, you take Louisville's best season in what? What is up, Crystal? Welcome in, welcome in. Louisville's best season in 10 years.
Yeah, Louisville has not been good the past few years.
At least 5 to 6 years.
I was about to say they ain't been good in a couple of years, and they struck fire this year, but Auburn will still beat them. I feel like.
All right. Paul has fell off the screen at the time being.
I'm here. I was just pulling Miss Meg back.
Oh. All right. So here we go. We got Louisville upsetting Auburn. That already takes out the number 1 overall seed.
And the next one, we had different people choose different things, but
And the next one puts what we've got as Paul and I have UC San Diego.
I got Michigan.
versus Texas A&M.
Now, Texas A&M's going to win. Just saying.
I'm gonna go San Diego one more round with that one.
That's
I could be wrong, but
That's risky.
it is. But as soon as I don't pick them, they'll do it.
And I see what you're saying because, I mean, they're, like I said, they're playing with house money and they are a outside shooting team. And the thing about an outside shooting team is you're not going to stop them. They're going to shoot from outside. They're live or die by the three. So if it goes in, good. If it don't, then it's going to be a long night.
A&M's going to put hard defense on them.
But I'm going Texas A&M. Crystal says Michigan. Brandon says A&M. All right, that takes you to your next matchup, which is North Carolina
Iowa State.
and Iowa State.
North Carolina will beat Iowa State.
Eli, bold prediction here from Eli.
No, they will.
He's a homeboy. He's a homer, so Eli's picking North Carolina.
I'm gonna take North Carolina too.
Mr. Paul Vines takes North Carolina, and I'm the only one that's picked Iowa State.
You picked Iowa State.
I did, but now Jens back got me convinced to pick otherwise. North Carolina will have something to prove, and
Birdie.
I hope I'm wrong. Dead's wrong here, but I'm going Iowa State.
Watch out.
I just think that even with Gilbert not being there, and I hope I'm wrong.
RJ Davis is going to get hot.
I hope you're right. I hope Mr. Paul's right. I hope Brandon's right. I hope William's right. Because North Carolina needs, I mean, they're going to be in it to prove something. And I hope
RJ will
they
get
do.
hot. And Cadeau will play great defense.
All right, that takes us to Marquette and Michigan State.
Michigan State.
Michigan State.
Everybody going Izzo. And that's what I picked as well.
Okay, we all got Louisville. I got Auburn next.
All right. All right, let's break away from there and go down to the
West.
Yep, let's go to the West.
First game will be an easy one.
The only reason we're going to stop there is we'll get everything wrapped up into the Sweet 16 and see what we got, and we'll go from there. So, to start out in the West, you have number 1 seed Florida versus Norfolk State.
That's an easy one. Gator Town.
I got to go Gators. What do you say, Paul?
Definitely Florida.
Man, they're playing some great ball.
Now, normally I'm rooting for an upset there, but I've watched Florida's last, 3-4 games, and I know it's a different season in the tournament, but they look like they're on a mission.
Oh, yeah.
Florida stuff. And Brandon goes with Florida. And I don't know what William went with. Oh, Michigan State, too. William went with the game before.
Yeah.
Yeah, Brandon. Okay. North Carolina does have a good defense. And like I said, they finally, before we get off of the North Carolina, and I'm a Tar Heel through and through, tattooed. But they have finally got a rotation they're sticking with. First year they didn't. They were putting.
Yeah, no, they're throwing people in like crazy.
I mean, but now they finally got a rotation and they're sticking with it. So, but now on to the West. In the 8-9 matchup, you have UConn and Oklahoma.
UConn.
UConn, Oklahoma. I tried to watch them a couple times this year, and honestly, I'm surprised they're in the tournament. But
Tell you what, the selection committee absolutely fell in love with the SEC this time.
well, God bless them.
Do you know how many teams the SEC got in? 14 teams. That is mind blowing. There is not but 2 teams that didn't make it: South Carolina and LSU. Every other team in the SEC made the tournament.
They could have left Oklahoma out from what I've seen of them. Of course, like I said, it's a whole new season now too.
Right. But I'm with you. I'll go with UConn too, just because
UConn's a good team.
Dan Hurley won back to back. They're at least good for one round.
Yeah, and then yeah.
So we all go with UConn, and Brandon goes UConn as well. Here you have another 5-12 matchup.
Colorado State.
You have
And
Memphis and Penny Hardaway.
I got Memphis winning.
And Eli don't know who in the world Penny Hardaway is.
I've heard of it. I promise you, I've heard of it.
And Colorado State.
Penny Hardaway, isn't he a movie star? Wasn't he in Blue Chips with Nick Nolte?
Yeah. Let's see. There's I know Shaquille was in that movie. I think Penny was in there too, though, wasn't he?
I think he was. He was the point guard.
I think he was too.
Yeah,
But,
I got Memphis winning.
They
This
kind of
game.
played together in Orlando for a while.
Memphis looked good the other night when I watched him play, but that was also the only time this year I've watched him play. So,
All right, Eli goes Memphis. Paul goes Memphis. I'm going Colorado State.
Ooh,
Colorado State is on fire right now. They are hot, hot, hot. And I like that 12-5 matchup. So I'm going Colorado State. Brandon goes Memphis. And we roll on to Maryland Grand Canyon, the number 4 and 13 seed.
I'm going Grand Canyon just because they like to make a splash in the tournament. They've done it before.
Paul's going Grand Canyon. Eli's going Maryland. And I'm going Maryland as well. But that Grand Canyon, they wrecked a lot of brackets last year.
Yes, sir.
You definitely have to keep an eye out for that.
this next one's gonna surprise everybody.
Number 6, Missouri. And the number 11 seed, Drake.
Drake will surprise a lot of people.
I'm going with Drake.
Yeah, me too. That's what I got.
Paul goes Drake. Eli goes Drake. And Drake is not a bad pick. What you need to remember with Drake is one name: Ben McCollum, their coach at Drake. He's done an outstanding job at Drake, and they've got a dude that can ball. But Ben McCollum, keep your ears and your eyes on him, because at the end of the season, he will pick where he wants to go in the coach carousel. He's already got a lot of teams wanting to get a hold of him and wanting to talk to him, but they won't till the season's over with. But look for him to land a coaching job at a high university. Brandon goes Drake. Paul goes Drake. Eli goes Drake. I'm going Missouri.
Good choice. They're a good team. That's going to be a good game. Should be.
That'll be definitely a good game. Trying to write down mine and Eli's, because Eli's got his picks wrote down, but man, his handwriting. That's because they don't have to handwrite. Everything's typed now. All right, and then the next matchup is Texas Tech and UNC Wilmington.
Texas Tech.
Texas Tech.
And I'm going Texas Tech as well. Even though I like UNC Wilmington, they got a Carolina boy coaching there. And don't ask me what his name is because I don't know. That's sad, ain't it? I can't remember it. He played with Marcus Page in that group. I'll look up that right quick. Quit texting your girlfriend.
Look up.
UNC Wilmington head coach. When you mention it, I don't know exactly who it is. I can see his face, but looks like everyone's in agreement there with Texas Tech. That takes us to Kansas and Arkansas. A 7-10 matchup.
I'm gonna go Arkansas, not just because I live there,
Right?
but they've won some games they weren't supposed to this year, and I think maybe finally, hopefully, they're coming together as a team. Hopefully,
The guy I was
I don't
thinking
know how
of,
to say his
the guy
name.
I'm thinking of is at Cincinnati now. He's not at UNC Wilmington no more. He went to Cincinnati. Yep. And Paul, Arkansas is supposed to be getting back Boogie Fland.
that'd be good.
They're getting him back for the tournament. But the biggest thing here is that Hunter Dickinson for Kansas, if they can control him inside, then Arkansas all the way. But
I got Kansas.
if not, then I think Kansas will.
Kansas was a great team last year,
Prevail.
and they're a good team this year.
But they fell off a lot this year.
I didn't say they were great this year. I said they were good.
Kansas is always good. I've never known Kansas to not be good.
They were great last year.
Yeah, but look at this bottom part of the bracket. What we're everyone overlooking. I'm going just for the sake of the big man inside and not knowing for sure if Boogie Fland's going to make it back or not. I'm going to go with Kansas. Eli went Kansas. Paul went Arkansas. But look at the 7-10 matchup, and then look down at that 2-15 matchup right below it. You got three
Yeah, I
teams
just
out there.
went down to that.
You got Bill Self, John Calipari, and Patino at St. John's. All three of those are championship coaches, and they're all going to be in Providence. Yeah, that's St. John's bunch.
Yeah, St. John's winning.
Yeah.
Not to get ahead of ourselves, but Patino, he's tough.
Yes, sir. No matter where he goes.
And just in those three teams, you got national championships. And like I said, you got Bill Self, John Calipari, and Rick Pitino all in one house.
Those games will be awesome.
That's going to be a tough bottom of the bracket there.
It'll be great to watch them.
So that's where we're at. Number 2, St. John's against Omaha.
St. John's.
St. John's. I think that's what everyone's going
Nah,
with.
I've got St. John. They're a great team.
All right, that takes us back up to the top of the bracket with Florida
And UConn.
and UConn.
Florida.
Yep. We're all agreement there. UConn just it's hard to three-peat. You know, if you go back to back, that's great. Wes Miller, yes, Mr. Willie, that's who I was thinking about. William Smith says Calipari is overrated, and could be, but I mean, he wins wherever he goes. You got to give him that. Whether it's UMass, Memphis, Kentucky. And now that they're paying players, everything he does is legal, so you don't have to worry about that anymore. So everyone went Florida. Brandon, yeah, we got you. Everyone's on the same page. Florida.
I know I've told you this 100 times in private or whatever. You know, my favorite story of players being paid is when Eric Dickerson showed up in Dallas on the SMU campus in that gold Trans Am that the boosters at the University of Houston bought him.
Yep. and you know, we call it jokingly, but it was going on. It has been going on, But now that it's legal,
It's absurd now, though. Just
They're
my
gonna-
opinion.
they're going to have to put a cap on it somehow. I mean, I don't know where the answer's at. What's up, Gatorman 15 says, how about them Gators? And Gatorman, that is the game we have just decided. We are in the second round of the west side of the bracket with Florida over Yukon.
Wait,
But
wait. Gator Man 15. That's not Billy, is it?
That's probably Billy.
Yeah.
William Smith, I agree with that. It has gotten ridiculous. And even I saw Roy Williams done an interview after he retired, and he said that it's not the same college ball that it was 10 years ago, 15 years ago. He said that
No, but think it's took over the NBA.
not the paying players part, but there is no players that are going hungry now like they was 10, 15 years ago. He said that the universities and everything have got money that they've got sewed up, to like help players eat and help players with this and that. But their name, image, and likeness will be jersey sales and commercials but I think that they're going to have to put a cap on it somewhere, or it's, I even heard one of the coaches say that they wasn't going to recruit anymore. Said recruiting is a thing of the past. Said right now he's hitting transfer portals
Pretty much.
because you take a chance of bringing in a recruit out of high school versus a player that's already got experience and is established. You go into someone's home anymore, it's not, what kind of education will we be getting? Mamas and daddies ain't wanting to know, well, is my youngin' going to be taken care of? They want to know how much money they're going to make. Bottom line, how much money's there? That's what a recruiting trip looks like now.
If I'm not mistaken, a player, it may have been from Texas the other day, they made him give back a car, and it was a fancy thing. It may have been a Porsche, if I'm not mistaken.
Ah. Alabama has been playing players long before the NIL, says Mr. Willie. That may be a shot at Blaine. I'm not real sure. All right, rolling along, we have Memphis and Maryland. Mr. Paul, who you got?
Well, I got Memphis and Grand Canyon, but I'm going to go Memphis.
Yep, Paul had Grand Canyon instead of Maryland. So you got Memphis and Grand Canyon, and you said you're going
Memphis.
Yeah, I got Memphis on that.
Memphis, and I have Maryland. So I'm going to be the oddball
Wow.
there. But I didn't have Memphis. I had Colorado State and Maryland, and I went Maryland. So we all got there. Well, you and Eli's got the same there with Memphis, and I got Maryland. So we go on to you and Eli have Drake and Texas Tech, and I have Missouri and Texas Tech.
Texas Tech will win.
Texas Tech.
And we all come back together there. I got Texas Tech. Eli's got Texas Tech. Paul's got Texas Tech. And Miss Meg says, go sports teams. And you know what's crazy? We used to do these brackets at work where you could fill out as many as you wanted to. And I think it was like $2 a bracket. And you would have people filling out all kinds of brackets. And they paid, the winner got every bit of it. the bracket that come the closest, and they done it by a point system. And the winner got all the money except $2. Last place got their $2 back. And do you know the one that won that was a woman in the office that never watched one single game, that just went by mascots and colors. That's how crazy this tournament is. I mean, you don't have to know what every team does, or you just have to be lucky enough to pick the right one, because it's, when you look at it, there's really no wrong choice. But everyone,
Amen, Mr. Willie. Amen.
NIL is a lie. It's just a group of boosters who put together a pot of money and tell the coach go shopping for players. And that's what it is.
That's what he
No,
said.
Blaine should be up here. He's awful active in the chat there. Just saying.
I know. Put your blue suede shoes on, Memphis.
He said that when I was talking about Carolina, and ain't got really nobody big or nobody really good right now besides seniors. He said that after we get Belichick in and the football and we start getting more money back, he said they're gonna give Hubert Davis money and you're gonna go player shopping.
Oh, see, that was the thing. Belichick cost North Carolina a lot of money. And
Going to bring in a lot.
you look at Hubert Davis, he went after centers. He did. But he didn't get none of the ones he was looking for, because the podcasts I've watched on people that's closer to the program than I am, a whole lot closer than I am, said that the money just wasn't there. And that North Carolina didn't have a general manager. You know, Duke's got a general manager. Most teams do now. So North Carolina went out and got a general manager for next season and the here on after. But my thinking is, like Paul said, the Belichick's going to pay off, because you're going to start selling all kinds of tickets. You're going to start selling all this and that, and money's going to roll in from football. Football is the big money maker in anything right now. And I think that their plans is to turn it around and put it back into basketball. That's my opinion. I don't know. But anywho, moving on. We are down to, Paul has Arkansas, Eli and I have Kansas and St. John's. Paul?
St. John.
St. John's.
Yeah, St. John, definitely.
Eli says St. John's as well. That St. John's team is just physical. If you watch them play, they are a rough bunch of, I mean, they play just as physical as any team I've seen play. All right, that's going to move us up to the East. And in the East, we have, first off, American, or Mount St. Mary's.
St. Mary's.
St. Mary's.
And I'm going with St. Mary's as well.
And then we got.
But I mean, that right there is kind of a toss-up too. But the thing with St. Mary's is they've lost to LaSalle and Cena. So I'm going to go Mount St. Mary's there.
I think whoever wins that one, yeah, never mind. It ain't gonna make a difference.
That's what I agree, but I just don't like Duke.
Yep.
Period.
So you got Duke or Mount St. Mary's?
Well, I got Duke.
Duke.
Ew.
I think everyone will agree Duke. The first round, and we go on to Mississippi State and Baylor. This right here is going to be an interesting ball game.
Yeah, but Baylor will with W.
8-9 matchup, Mississippi State with Baylor.
I got Baylor.
I got Baylor.
I have Baylor
When
as well.
it comes tournament time, Baylor gets scary.
So all three of us go with Baylor. What's up, Ron at the Family Adventures? He says, I want to hear Scott say Duke. I just said Duke. And it hurts my feelings. But think here with that Baylor and Duke matchup that's going to be coming up. Jeremy Roach, that was a Dookie last year. He transferred to Baylor this year.
Roach he's a great player.
He is a outside threat and a half.
Man, I hated him last year when we had to play Duke.
So that takes us on to Oregon and Liberty.
Oregon.
I'm gonna go Liberty.
I'll
Be
go-
different.
That there is not a bad choice. I debated long and hard about the Liberty.
I do pick the Ducks.
And I will go Oregon as well. But that Liberty, I'm riding Oregon down, but I am definitely not confident in that. To see Liberty.
Oh, we got 2 Bama fans here now. There goes the neighborhood.
Roach sounds like something from Duke.
Yeah.
I know. When the fam comes in, that's a Bama.
But North Carolina's always going to have bragging rights over Duke because, let's be honest, and I'm not nowhere near his biggest fan, but North Carolina did produce the greatest basketball player of all time, hands down.
Michael Jordan.
Yep.
Yes, sir.
All right, so we're to the
Duke did have a really good coach, though.
4-13 seed, Arizona and Akron.
Arizona they should have got a higher seed, I think.
Yeah. I'm going to go Arizona.
Oh, yeah. Especially with Caleb Love. He's getting hot again.
There is your mother. And Miss Amber says, I pick my bracket according to what team colors I like best, but somehow always end up ahead at the end. No, you don't.
Anyway, back to what I was saying. Caleb Love will carry Arizona.
He's not the best player on that team, though.
He's close.
All right. So we all go Arizona, and that's pretty solid pick. Next up is BYU and VCU, 6 seed and 11 seed.
BYU.
That's a tough one.
I'm going to go VCU.
Paul goes VCU. Eli goes BYU. I'm going BYU. But
BYU's a good
VCU
team.
is very capable of winning that game. I mean, that 6-11 right there is a toss up. VCU's not a bad pick, Paul.
Neither is BYU. I'm looking forward to that game.
That'd be a real good one. And then the next game underneath that is number 3 seeded Wisconsin and number 14 Montana.
Wisconsin.
Hmm.
The thing about Wisconsin is it's not the Wisconsin team of the old. I mean, they're
Well, no, but they're still a good team.
They're good. Yeah.
Paul, who you got?
Probably gonna regret this, but I'm gonna go Wisconsin.
I went Wisconsin as well.
Montana's very capable of putting a big upset.
Well, it seems like we got a bunch of good basketball fans in the chat there, and you preach to the choir when you say that's the kind of matchup, and the one before it's what you're really looking for in this tournament,
right?
I mean, it's just great basketball.
It is. And looks like Blaine went with the Mormons. Brandon first said BYU, and I think he changed it to Montana. Or no, he went with BYU then.
Then Montana.
Yeah. So not Wisconsin, Montana. I'm behind on you there, Brandon. Brandon goes Montana over Wisconsin.
2 years ago, Montana was really hot, weren't they? They had that great big old boy play. This is a long time ago, I guess. Was it Bryant Reeves? Didn't he come out of Montana?
Yeah.
That was many moons ago.
Yep. You are correct. Paul Vines. See, he's got all this knowledge.
I'm just old.
I knew that's why when we were going to do this tonight that I asked Paul to join us. The next 7-10 matchup is St. Mary's against Vanderbilt.
St. Mary's.
I go St. Mary's. Not very confidently though, but
I'm there with you. The only reason I'm going St. Mary's is this not Vanderbilt's. Didn't they have a coaching change last year?
I think so.
Because I know Stackhouse was there for a while. But Vanderbilt's had a good season, nothing to look down on. But we all go St. Mary's. Blaine goes Vandy. And then you have the number 2 seed Alabama and number 15 seed Robert Morris.
Alabama. Yeah, Alabama will win.
I'm going to go Robert Morris. No, I'm just kidding. I'm going Bama.
See, I've never even heard of Robert Morris.
I didn't either. I thought he sung for the Doors, but that's not
Jim Morris.
It's Morris' son, not Morris. So Alabama.
Well, Alabama, I watched them play Florida the other night, and they didn't look, if you're looking at the score, it didn't look good. But if you've watched Florida at all, you know that, well, Florida's just tough.
Right, they are. And that was one of those quad one wins that North Carolina lost out on, but they played them close. I mean, it was a less than a 10-point game. So that's why I think that you can still have good losses as long as they're not, as long as you're not, I mean, if you're playing quad one teams and getting blown out by 20 points, that's not a good loss. But if you're playing, you know, North Carolina played 3 out of 4 of the number 1 seeds. They played Auburn, they played Florida, and they played Duke. The only team they didn't play was Houston. Auburn and Duke blew them out, you know, and until they played Duke in the ACC tournament, and Duke just beat them by 3.
They didn't have to the flag, though.
Florida just beat them by 5 or 6. And if you don't award these quad one close losses, then I'm afraid we're gonna lose big time matchups early in the season, because that's when a lot of these are played non-conference. And if you're looking at the quantity of wins over the quality of games being played, you know, I would tend to rather see big time schools playing each other in December than I would see North Carolina play Nickel State. 10-1. I mean, it don't help nobody if you're playing Nickel State or Robert Morris or, you know, schools like that. I don't know, Paul. What do you think about that?
I mean, it's true. I mean, like I said, though, when you get in the tournament, it's totally different. I mean, it's a new season, so. But and Mr. Willie corrected me. Bryant Reeves, Big Country, played for Oklahoma State. There was something. I don't know. That's probably 10, 15 years ago. There was something with the Montana team showed up and was. I don't know. They had a lights out player, or I don't know. But it's been a few years since they were, you know, doing something. But.
Montana did have a player though, a dude. That's what we would call him today. All right. Rolling along, we're back up to Duke and Baylor.
I go Duke.
All goes Duke. Eli.
I hate to say it, but I'm gonna go Duke for one more round.
And Ron at the family. I go Duke. They are, and the ACC, SEC challenge, love them. You know, it was the ACC Big Ten challenge for the longest time, and now it's ACC and SEC, and I think it needs to stay like that for a while because the ACC has to redeem itself because the SEC whipped our tails this last season. Not even funny. Ron goes Duke. Brandon goes Duke. Blaine goes Duke, but in a close one.
I mean Baylor. mm,
I saw that, Mr. Willie. I don't know who that Montana player was, but Montana did have a dude, and I'm like Paul. I can't think of his name. All right. Oregon and Arizona.
Arizona.
Eli goes Arizona. Mr. Paul.
I got Arizona.
Mr. Paul goes Arizona, and I go Arizona as well. That takes us to Paul's VCU and Wisconsin.
Or BYU.
Who you got there, Paul?
I'm gonna go Wisconsin.
Paul goes Wisconsin.
I'll go BYU.
Eli goes BYU. And I go Wisconsin. Brandon goes Arizona over Oregon. So everyone goes Wisconsin, but you, Eli, and you go BYU. You're still with the Mormons.
Yep.
St. Mary's in Alabama.
Alabama.
I'm gonna go Alabama.
I'm going Bama. Blaine says Wisconsin. I know it sounds cheesy. Brandon goes Wisconsin. Everyone but Eli. Eli went Brigham Young.
I went Bama.
Not on Wisconsin, BYU.
Oh no, BYU. I was about to say I just went Bama.
All right. Now we move on to the Midwest. And this right here, I think this region is set up for Houston to make a Final Four run.
Yep, that's why I got them in it.
As
So
long as they don't trip over their own shoelaces.
They are bad for that. Paul, you're right. I've seen games where they couldn't get out of their own way. And that's tough, but so SIU Edwardsville or Houston.
Houston.
Sir Paul?
Thanks for coming, SIU.
And for teams like that, that's a big accomplishment.
It is.
I mean, we're sitting here. This team right here made it into the field, and Carolina's got to play in the first four. So, hats off to them.
Well, you see, here's the thing I love about this tournament. And people say, well, it renders the regular season null and void. Which, and I've said this 100 times tonight. Yeah, it's a brand new season now. But the regular season does count because I'd whole lot rather be a number 1 seed against a 16 seed than a matchup we're finna see come up here in just a minute. I think I can't hardly read my bracket here, but I think it's a 8 versus a 9. I ain't reading that wrong. That should be an amazing game.
I got the Zags winning.
Oh, I do too.
Are you talking about the Georgia and the Gonzaga game?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, I got the Zags winning.
Gonzaga?
I hate Gonzaga to death because we don't have good history with them, and
Because they whipped our hind end.
yeah, we don't have good history. with them
That's
in
no
March.
reason to hate a team. Paul, who do you
The
have?
thing is, we had satellite TV for years, and my dad, after he retired, bless his heart, he'd stay up midnight watching college basketball, watching those West Coast games that started at bedtime.
Yep.
And he
11:30
knew Gonzaga and them way before they became national names.
Right. So that 8-9 matchup is the Battle of the Bulldogs. Are you taking Gonzaga Bulldogs or are you taking the Georgia Dogs?
I'm going Gonzaga.
Yeah, I got the Zags.
And I am going Gonzaga as well because there's another coach, just like Oizzo. Mark Few knows how to get his boys ready in March. He sure does. The Gonzaga for everyone, even for Ron at the family. Gonzaga. All right, then we move on to the
Clemson and
5-12. Now here's another 5-12 upset.
but I got Clemson winning.
Clemson McNeese. I was gonna say State, but I don't guess they are. It's just McNeese. Clemson or McNeese?
I got Clemson.
I'm going McNeese. Because
Ooh,
I've watched them play, and it's another one of those games where if they can control it and play their game, they're going to take Clemson off their game. But if they let Clemson run wild, it's not going to be a pretty night for them.
Not a bad pick. Paul's going McNeese, and I'm going Clemson. Eli goes Clemson. I was wanting to say who in the chat. Ron from the family goes McNeese.
So ain't nobody got faith in the Tigers.
And then you got
Well, Clemson's just Auburn with a lake. I mean, come on.
now you've got the 4-13. Blaine goes Clemson, but Brandon goes McNeese. The 4-12 matchup,
Purdue.
the 4-13 matchup is Purdue, and you have to take your hats off to the team they're playing. This is their first appearance in the tournament, and they're from North Carolina as well.
They
High Point University.
They could take off with this game and upset Purdue, but it'd be hard to do.
No. High Point, you've done well making the tournament, but Purdue.
Yeah, I was about to say Purdue. Some
hats off to them, and I hope they win, but you got to go Purdue.
Yep.
But I hope I'm wrong, to be honest with you.
All right. Everyone's going Purdue. That's a very high point, but Purdue. Yep, Purdue Boilermakers. Then you have the last remaining first four playing game. It is number 11 seed Texas and number 11 seed Xavier. Sir Paul, I want to hear your thoughts on this
let's
game.
hear this.
Well, I am a Texas Longhorns fan, but I'm going Xavier.
Me too.
Flat out, don't have it.
I got Xavier winning.
Well, Xavier's like that bunch from Marquette. They travel real well. And if you look at where they're playing in Dayton, Ohio, that's a little closer to Xavier than it is Texas. But still yet, I mean.
But I got Illinois beating Xavier.
You boys went Xavier, and I went Texas.
Do you think it's going to matter, though?
Yeah.
You got Texas beating Illinois.
All right. So, Paul, who do you have?
I'm going to take Xavier over Illinois.
Ooh.
And he's going Xavier another round. Which ain't a bad pick. I mean, they're a good basketball school. They really are. Eli, who did you go with?
I went with Illinois.
Eli went Illinois. I went Illinois.
Paul goes Xavier, which might not be a bad choice. We'll see.
I went Texas, but I went Illinois in that next round.
And it's funny because Tennessee knocked Texas out of the SEC tournament, and our ex-coach is coaching Tennessee, Rick Barnes.
Right. Yep. And Rick Barnes also has ties to Clemson. I am not a Rick Barnes fan.
He's a great coach regular season. At least when he was with Texas, he just came tournament time. We were like 1 or 2 and done.
And he hadn't produced anything for Tennessee. I mean, other than regular season. Tennessee's not a tournament team. And the reason I don't like Rick Barnes goes back to the Clemson days when he pushed Dean Smith. So they kind of had an altercation at half court at the scores table. And he put his hands on the dean. But other than that, he's probably a nice guy.
Well, let's be honest, though. At Tennessee, I think if you call it across the board, anybody coaching at Tennessee should be in a shadow, because this is my opinion, but I can back it. I can make a good argument for it. The greatest college basketball coach of all time coached at Tennessee. And if you're trying to figure out who he is a she.
I was going to say Pat Summitt.
Yes, sir.
And it's sad that the same thing that got Pat Summitt was the same thing that got Dean Smith. And that was dementia.
I've heard a lot about Dean, but I'd love to see him actually on television, watch him coach a game.
That's what forced Dean out. No one wanted to come right out and say it at the time, but his mind was slipping, and and same thing happened to Pat Summitt. And man, she was a fireball of a coach.
Oh yeah.
All right, Mr. Willie says Texas, so he's going Texas over Illinois. Next, we have Kentucky and Troy.
Wildcats.
Kentucky.
I'm going Kentucky as well. But the one team that ruined my bracket last year quicker than anybody?
Troy.
Kentucky.
Oh, Kentucky.
Yeah, Kentucky went out early last year. That was the whole falling out of Calipari.
Oh, yeah, I remember that. Yeah.
That's why Cali's in Arkansas.
Yeah. I remember that now.
All right, next up is UCLA and Utah State.
Ooh.
That's a 7-10 matchup.
I'm going to go UCLA just out of tradition. And that's moons ago when they were tough.
Yep. They hadn't seen the wooden days in a while. But I went to Utah State.
It might not be a bad choice, honestly.
I went
It's not at all.
Kentucky will destroy the Troy Trojans, says Blaine. The fam went Paul, can you see the chat?
I can.
All right, good deal. Because some can't, but then we end up with Tennessee and Wofford. And Wofford is a South Carolina team.
Tennessee's going to clean house.
I'm going Wofford just because I got no faith in after years of experience and years of letdown from Rick Barnes. I mean, Rick Barnes is, like I said, he's a great coach, regular season, but he couldn't tote Tom Izzo's gym bag when it comes tournament time.
Right. Ron likes Utah State too. Brandon likes Utah State. But Mr. Paul Vines, and there
Man, I didn't expect that.
there has been a 215 upset. The only thing we haven't had is 116, right? Or was there? I'm trying to
Trying
think.
to think.
Mm,
I can't recall one right offhand.
I don't know if there's been a 116 upset. Now I know there's been a 215 because Duke was a 2 seed one year and got beat by a team called Mercer. Ron says
Well,
10 to me is like y'all's Duke.
But I got Tennessee winning because they're a great ball team.
Blaine said Tennessee, even though he puked a little saying that.
Kentucky State Prison.
We don't wear any orange the third week in October. So Paul went with Wofford, and that, hey, that, like I said, there's no bad pick because that could happen just as easily as
Anything can happen in the March Madness.
Harvard beat Stanford 1998. And that was a 116, or was that a 215? Maybe I need to be looking this up.
You can look.
This one is something I don't know how to answer. But while I'm looking it up, we'll move on to Houston and Gonzaga. Second round in the Midwest.
Ooh.
Who you got, E?
Houston.
Eli's going Houston. Sir Paul.
Oh wow. That should be a barn burner. I'm gonna go Gonzaga. But Houston has looked good when they're on.
I just don't know that they played that stiff a competition, have they?
That's a good point too.
I mean, they definitely ain't been paddle tested like anybody in the SEC, but who really has? I mean, SEC's, you take their top 5 teams, they're tough. They are, without a doubt. But I'm going to take Houston just for the fact that Gonzaga's, to me, Gonzaga's having a down season because it's not the Gonzaga's that Eli remembers a couple of years ago, but still not a bad pick picking Gonzaga. All right.
That's the team. I forgot. I was trying to think of earlier that Mason that ain't in this year, but done some good stuff. Dickinson.
Yep. Right. All right. So that moves us to where I've got Clemson and Purdue. Paul has McNeese and Purdue. Sir Paul, who you got there?
I got Purdue.
I got Purdue.
Paul goes Purdue. Eli goes Purdue. And I go Clemson. Just because of Hunter and that chef.
Yeah, Purdue's gonna be snaky.
So you both take Purdue into the second round. I take Clemson. That pulls us down to Illinois. Well, Paul's got Xavier in Kentucky. Paul, who you going with there?
I'm gonna go with Kentucky.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with the Wildcats.
Eli goes with Kentucky. Paul went Kentucky. And I have Kentucky, Illinois, and I went with Kentucky. Go ahead, Paul.
Isn't Coppin State? That's in North Carolina, isn't it?
I'm not sure, but I remember him being in the tournament. Coppin.
Yeah.
I'm not sure. I'd have to look that up.
It's been a few years ago, but
And then Eli, you have UCLA, Tennessee.
Tennessee will beat UCLA.
Paul, you have UCLA, Wofford.
I got UCLA.
UCLA. And I got Tennessee, Utah State, and I'm going Tennessee. Paul gets that Wofford, Tennessee game. He's going to look like.
He may be right, honestly.
All right, so Paul, read off your Sweet 16.
Oh gosh. Hang on just a second. Okay, my Sweet 16, Louisville, if I'm not mistaken. San Diego, North Carolina, Michigan State, Florida, Memphis, Texas Tech, St. John, Duke, Arizona, Wisconsin, Alabama, Gonzaga, Purdue, Kentucky, and UCLA.
That's pretty close to mine,
All right, Eli.
especially in the West.
Go ahead and read off your Sweet 16.
All right. So I got Auburn, Texas A&M, North Carolina, Michigan State, Florida, Memphis, Texas Tech, St. John, Duke, Arizona, BYU, Alabama, Houston, Purdue, Kentucky, and Tennessee.
Yep, you and Paul's pretty close. And mine is Auburn, Texas A&M, Iowa State, Michigan State, Florida, Maryland, Texas Tech, St. John, Duke, Arizona, Wisconsin, Alabama, Houston, Clemson, Kentucky, and Tennessee. All right.
Going back to the South.
We'll go back to the South. I have Auburn and Texas A&M.
I got Texas A&M beating Auburn.
Eli goes Texas A&M. I'll go Auburn another round. Paul, who you got there?
I got Louisville and
Texas
UC
A&M.
San Diego. I'm gonna go Louisville.
That's right. Yep, you got Louisville.
All right.
All right. In the next matchup, Eli has North Carolina and Michigan State. Paul, I think you got that too, right?
Yes, sir.
All right. So
Okay, let me say one thing. North Carolina has beat Michigan State how many times?
Here is your fun fact. The last 10 meetings, which is starting at November 29th in the year 2000 up to November 27th in the year 2024, which was this season back in November. North Carolina is 7-3 against Michigan State. I think they're the only ones that give Izzo a fit. They beat them for a national championship one year.
I have it hanging in my bedroom.
So with that being said, Eli, you're going with
UNC.
and that game that they played back in November went into overtime, but Michigan State beat them, and that was down in Maui.
Yes, sir.
All right, Paul, who you got?
Well, that's a tough one. I got a feeling about North Carolina, but like I said earlier, I love Tom Izzo and tournament time. But I'm gonna go North Carolina just because I think they're due. They're due for a good showing.
Paul goes North Carolina as well. There,
I like that.
I have Iowa State and Michigan State.
And you picked Michigan State.
And I picked Michigan State.
Yes, you did. Because for some odd reason, a North Carolina fan picked Iowa State.
Well, I was trying not to be a homer. What's up, Pam? Hey, it's PB. Pam says, hey, I'm studying brackets tonight. We'll make my picks Wednesday.
The day before the tournament.
All right, that takes us to your pick, Paul. I think is Florida and Memphis, correct?
That's what I got too.
Yes, sir. And I got Florida over
Yep, me
Memphis.
too.
Eli goes Florida. Paul goes Florida. And I have Florida and Maryland, but I'm going Florida as well. And that takes us to I have Texas Tech St. John.
Me too.
Me too.
And Sir Paul, go ahead and lead us off with that one.
St. John.
I'm going right with you.
And I will follow suit. We all pick St. John.
Now we're back to the East.
All right. In the East, I have Duke in Arizona.
Me too.
Me too.
And I will take Arizona.
Who you got on that, Paul?
Yeah, I hate to do it. I'm gonna go. I gotta go Duke.
I'm going Duke as well.
I just feel like Arizona will upset Duke like they did in Cameron Indoor
Earlier this season.
Yep.
You're going off of that.
Yep.
Hey. All right. Next up, I have Wisconsin, Alabama. Paul, what do you have on that one?
I have Wisconsin and Alabama, and I'm gonna go with Wisconsin.
I got
Sorry,
BYU,
Brian.
Alabama, and I'll go Alabama.
Paul goes Wisconsin over Alabama. That's an upset. Eli goes Alabama over BYU. And I go Alabama over Wisconsin. Then we got
I
Paul.
got Houston and Purdue.
And Paul, you have Houston and Purdue, correct?
I have Gonzaga.
Yep. Oh,
and
yeah.
Purdue.
All right.
And
Yep.
I'm gonna go Purdue over Gonzaga.
Ooh.
Paul's
I'm going to go Houston over Purdue.
I think Houston could beat Purdue, no doubt.
And I got Houston and Clemson. And I go Houston.
Thing about Purdue, though, I think they're gonna make a splash in football as well. They got them a good head coach headed their way.
And who would that be?
That's a good question. I just lost his name. He coached at Missouri, then became defensive coordinator for Arkansas, then went and coached UNLV head coach, and then went to Purdue. I can't think of his name right offhand.
That coaching carousel went real big in college football. But Purdue, I mean, I know them as a basketball college, but they're also known for football too.
Let me say one thing. College football's getting way better because the NFL's getting way worse.
Then I have Kentucky, Tennessee. Eli has Kentucky, Tennessee, and Paul, you have Kentucky, Wofford.
I have Kentucky, UCLA.
Oh yeah, Kentucky, UCLA. I don't know why I said Wofford. Yeah, UCLA.
Tennessee's beating Kentucky there.
Eli's
I'm gonna
going
stay
Tennessee.
UCLA on that one.
Paul's going UCLA. And I've got Tennessee, Kentucky. I'm going Tennessee. So we have our Elite Eight, and they're very different. Paul's Elite Eight. Go ahead and tell us what you got there, Paul.
I have Louisville, North Carolina, Florida, St. John, Duke, Wisconsin, Purdue, and UCLA.
Those are way different than mine. Except for the South and West. I got Texas A&M, North Carolina, Florida, St. John, Arizona, Alabama, Houston, and Tennessee.
I'll say this: whoever put these brackets together did an amazing job. They really did.
There's some tough games here to try to pick from. And my Elite Eight is Auburn, Michigan State, Florida, St. John, Duke, Alabama, Houston, and Tennessee. So we'll go back to the South, and we'll wrap it up. I have Auburn versus Michigan State, and I'm going Michigan State. Ooh. Paul, you have Louisville and North Carolina.
I'm going Louisville over North Carolina.
The Cardinals. I got Texas A&M and North Carolina. I'm gonna pick North Carolina.
Eli goes North Carolina to the Final Four.
Heck yeah.
That would be the first team to go from the first four to the Final Four. What kind of story would that be? First four to
Be
final.
a great one.
I believe they can do it.
All right. I think all of us have Florida and St. John.
And I got Florida winning.
Hey, you
I
got Florida? I have Florida as well. And then Paul has, do you have Duke and Wisconsin?
I got Duke and Arizona.
All right, Paul, go ahead.
Going Duke.
Paul going Duke to the Final Four.
I will go with Arizona.
Eli's going Arizona over Alabama.
Yep.
And I'm going Duke over Alabama. And then I have Houston and Tennessee. Paul has
too.
Purdue, UCLA. Paul, go ahead. Who you got?
I'm going to go UCLA.
Paul has UCLA. Eli?
I got Houston beating Tennessee.
And I have Houston beating Tennessee as well. And how in the world we got there, Eli? I do not know because we had nobody pick the same. All right, so our Final Four. Paul's is Louisville, Florida, Duke, and UCLA.
Mine is North Carolina, Florida, Arizona, and Houston.
Mine's Michigan State, Florida, Duke, and Houston. All right,
And they
Paul.
all sound good except for my UCLA.
Hey, it's can't never tell.
Alrighty, here we go.
All right, Paul.
Left side of the Final
knock
Four.
it down for us. Go to the Final Four on the left side, the South and the what is it?
West.
South and the West.
All right, I'm going Florida.
That's what I got.
Florida.
I got Florida beating North Carolina in the Final Four.
And as soon as they lose, you know, I ain't going to say nobody's name, but I'm going to be blamed for picking them.
Eli goes Florida
over North Carolina.
Over North Carolina. And
I hope they prove me wrong, but
I'm going Florida over Michigan State. So all three got Florida on this, and none of us had them going the same path.
This is going to be a great tournament. I mean, well, on paper.
And then Paul has Duke and UCLA.
Yes, sir.
Coming out there.
Yep.
Well, my finals pick is clouded by who I want to see. So I got Duke over UCLA
Right.
because I want to see these two teams match up.
And I have Houston over Arizona.
Eli goes Houston over Arizona. And I go Duke over Houston.
So I got Houston and Florida in the national championship.
And Paul has
Duke and Florida.
Duke and Florida. And I have Duke and Florida. And who's your national champion, Paul?
Well, I don't like this team, but I can't stand the other one. So I'm going to pick Florida.
Ooh.
Paul's going Florida.
That's the only team I watch this year I think can hang with Duke.
I do agree with that. But I think Arizona will take Duke out.
It could happen.
You got Houston and Florida. Who you going with?
Houston with the national champion.
And if they're on, that is not impossible at all.
And I have Duke and Florida, and I'm going Duke.
Well, North Carolina fan picking Duke to win the national championship.
They're loaded.
He ain't crazy.
They're loaded. What's up, Gary? With 2 R's. He says you guys are dreaming. Anybody but Duke. He says anybody but puke. Hey, Gary, I'm with you. I'm a Carolina fan. Die hard.
You don't act like it tonight. You act like
Thank you, Mr. Willie. Barry Odom was the coach at Missouri, and then became Arkansas's defensive coordinator. Went to UNLV to be the head coach. Was there, of course, when he came to Arkansas as defensive coordinator, everybody said, "Well, he's a great defensive coach, just not a head coach." And he went to UNLV for a cup of coffee, and Purdue came calling. So.
All right. Well, Paul, I certainly appreciate you hanging out with us tonight and filling out our brackets. Now it's just going to be interesting to see
how they play out and what happens. We all got Florida in it, the final game, but
yep.
Wait, I have a question.
All right.
And this is the NBA. We was talking about Montana earlier. Did they ever have a NBA team?
I don't know. You're asking things that I have no idea.
It'd kind of be crazy if they did. Nobody lives in Montana.
Right?
No, seriously, nobody lives there. But
yeah, I don't know. I don't know if they do or not.
Well, where did the Memphis Grizzlies? Where did they come from? They came from Vancouver, didn't they? Am I messed up here?
I think you're right. I think they did. I know the team I always enjoyed watching just because of Sean Payton or I think what that was Supersonics, wasn't it? They went
Seattle.
They went to Oklahoma. But I always liked watching the Supersonics.
We grew up watching the Celtics with Bird, McHale, and Parrish, and all them. So I don't watch it no more, though. I don't think I watch any professional sports.
It pains me to try to watch NBA.
I don't play that.
Well, y'all, I enjoyed this, but I'm gonna get off here and get to my nighttime duties. Like I said, this was fun. Thank y'all.
Yeah, I enjoy it. Thank you for coming up and being with us and helping us go through the brackets, and it's going to be fun. See you later, Paul. I'm getting ready to head out. All right. Do you guys remember the Cincinnati Rolls? Gary, I don't. Is that a baseball or a basketball or?
Royals sound like a baseball thing.
It does, and could be. All right. NBA. No, I don't remember the NBA rules. But dang, I dropped my pen. All right, y'all. We are out of here. For those watching the replay, like I said, one more time, disclosure: we are not experts, as you can tell by our picks. So don't say you saw what we picked and take it and put any money on it. Please do not do that, because we don't have a clue what we're. It's just opinionated. But y'all, we look forward to a great tournament. Starts tomorrow. The first four starts tomorrow. North Carolina plays at 9:10. And there's a game before that one, and like I said, Vancouver had NBA. Yep, the Grizzlies. But y'all, we are out of here. We will see you Sunday when I have Miss Amber with me for Chewing the Fat. But this is our bracket picking, filling out. We hope you enjoyed it. And guys, we hope you fill out a bracket. It's fun. You don't have to put any money on it. We don't. Lord knows why, because we can't pick, but it makes it more interesting, makes it funner. We will see you next Sunday. Until then, we will see you on the mean streets of YouTube. Guys, hope everyone has a blessed week. We're out. Enjoy the first round, the first four, and the first round of the tournament this Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. And we will maybe be back Monday. What do you think, E? You want to come back next Monday and talk about how the first round went? I wouldn't wait 2 weeks. We'll be back next Monday, a week from today. See just how bad we screwed up the first four and the first round of the 2025 NCAA tournament. Guys, March Madness is here. We love you. We out.